Hello everybody and welcome back to Full House Sports here, myself Charlie. A reminder before the video starts to please like, comment and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Now we've just had the news come through today about the undercard that is on Glory at Giza, the Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven fight. And I think whisper it quietly, but despite the fact that the main event is a freak show and probably shouldn't be allowed to happen, the undercard is very, very good. Sheeraz is confirmed to be fighting Alan Begic for the vacant WBO super middleweight title. We always knew that was going to happen. Hamza was the mandatory for that belt, and Begic, I think, was ranked number 2 or vice versa. So that was always a fight that's going to happen. You would expect Hamza to come through that and win, and then hopefully set up some huge fights at 168. A fight I'd really like to see is an Adames rematch, maybe up at super middleweight. I think that's a great fight, especially when you consider, in my opinion, Adames beat him in that first fight that they drew out in Saudi Arabia. There's also Jack Catterall versus Shakram Giyasov. We knew that fight was going ahead. That was almost done for last week, or confirmed for last week. A good fight for Jack Catterall. He's, again, unfortunately with Jack Catterall, he's in the who needs him club. You know, he does sell tickets. I've been and watched him before fight, but the problem with Jack Catterall is he doesn't knock people out, so he doesn't bring many eyes, apart from his solid Chorley Northwest fan base. And also, he has been criticised for maybe not being the most attractive boxer to watch in terms of his style. He is very defensively sharp, but that sometimes could be his undoing. He does tend to go into points. He doesn't knock many people out. Although he did actually knock Jack Escobar out on the Ben Eubank 2 undercard. I actually thought that was quite a good fight from Catterall. He was aggressive in that fight. Obviously, he's working now with Jaron Ennis's dad, Bozy. And that I thought he came through that. That being said, Giyasov is no mug. He's from that Central Asian amateur school. I think he's Uzbek, if I remember rightly, which their amateurs are storied. He's gone maybe a little bit under the radar on the pro scene, but that's a really tough night's work for Jack Catterall. I think that's a fight that, yeah, Jack Catterall might come up short in. And another fight on the undercard that I think is massively interesting, especially when you consider where the heavyweight division is Richard Torres versus Frank Sanchez, which is, I believe, an IBF eliminator. But with Derek Chisora ranked at number 2 and fighting tomorrow against Deontay Wilder, you never know what could happen there. One of them could end up being ordered to fight for the belt or fight Del Boy, depending on if he retires or wins. You never know if that's the case. But that, for me, is a very interesting fight. Torres and Sanchez, both undefeated, both good fighters, and both, I think, underrated heavyweights on this heavyweight scene. Sanchez is undefeated, actually. I've just remembered he lost, didn't he, to Caballero. Of course he did. Sorry. But Torres, it's a big step up for Richard Torres. Of course, he's been in promotional wranglings with Top Rank for a while now. They're trying to get him fights. But Sanchez is a big step up for him, and a tough one at that. And again, it's a real 50-50 fight. Whoever wins that, I think, though, firmly puts themselves in world title contention. If I had to call it now, I'd probably go Sanchez, to be honest with you. But I think overall it's a really, really good card. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of nerves at the minute because of the situation in the Middle East. Will the card be able to take place in Egypt? If not, I understand there is a plan B, or we've been told that there's a plan B. And like I say, it needed a solid undercard because we've all, I think everyone in the boxing and wider sphere has basically said that it's a bit of a freak show, this Usyk-Rico fight. But the fact that it is a solid undercard does mean that maybe more eyes will come to it. As always, guys, let us know what you think, though. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. As always, have a great day.